I'm Joanna Acentares, and I'm a psychologist.
Have you dealt with patients that have alcoholic parents?
Yes, both younger people as well as adults who have had alcoholic parents.
If so, what is the most common effect that the child suffers?
Generally, what I've seen is that people present with a variety of different symptoms, but the majority have a low self-esteem. Many times come in with depression feelings or anxiety, and also a lot of behaviors that lead them to have some unhealthy relationships in many situations.
What advice do you give your patients?
Yes. I think that when a lot of people come in with these different symptoms or different issues, another thing I left out was that sometimes people come in with their own substance abuse issues, their own alcoholism or their own substance abuse. And so it depends on what they come in with. But generally, what I ask them first is I take a good background or good evaluation of their background. And then many times I ask if they themselves have gone through recovery themselves. There are some programs or 12-step programs that by Al-Anon or Alateen for younger people where it helps families and friends of alcoholics to heal from the wounds that creates. Many times when people are alcoholic, they have a difficult time of connecting with others emotionally. And so when people come in to see me, they come in with pretty deep wounds about, wanting to trust others but unable to do so. Or afraid of doing so because they trusted their alcoholic parents so much, or they trusted their alcoholic brother or sister, and they let them down so many times. And so people come in with a lot of trust issues and so on. And so my advice generally is, have you gone through your own recovery? And then what are some things that you're willing to work on? And then based on that, then we work on whatever they want to focus on.
Does living with an alcoholic parent affect the child's performance at school?
Yes, actually, what we generally see is that not only in families of alcoholics, but also in families where there's substance abuse, such as cocaine use or meth use or whatever it may be, that kids come to the school unprepared to learn. Many times they are distracted because they're thinking, okay, how am I gonna are we going to eat today? Is mom or dad going to have enough money? Are they going to spend it in alcohol or in their drug abuse? Sometimes kids are thinking about the fight that happened yesterday when dad came home drunk, and how could they focus in school when they're thinking about a fight that just happened? Sometimes kids themselves are being the victims of abuse, and so then they're afraid of that as well. So in some ways, I think that we could see, or we would expect a child to have difficulties in school. There are also many children who do exceptionally well in school because sometimes school is the only place where they feel safe or where they feel that they can actually trust others. So sometimes we either see them not being able to focus, sort of falling behind, or we see a lot of kids really excelling because this is the only place where I can show, I'm good at, I have people like me, I can trust people. What I do here, people respect. And so it can go either way, I would say. But
How does living with an alcoholic parent affect the child's behavior?
so in many circumstances, a lot of it it depends, but and not every child will respond the same way. But sometimes kids would present with depression, and many times they would be a way of showing depression in younger people is through aggression, many times, or irritability. And so, very little things, all of a sudden, they turn to be really big things, And so, people tend to have, some maybe anger management issues occasionally, or when they may be distracted during school, and so the teacher is constantly saying, pay attention," and they're distracted. They may be more. They may call more attention to themselves sometimes because at home they're not really having a lot of attention by their parents. And so at school, then this is a time where people can give me attention. So there can be different behaviors that the child can come with.
Do you think that living with an alcoholic parent can affect the child in the future?
Yes, as a matter of fact, many of the adult people that I've seen or I've treated have had parents who either, they have been deceased, or parents who stopped abusing alcohol for many, many years, but they did when my patients themselves were younger. And many times, the deep wounds that can create can lead to or can carry throughout adulthood as well. And many times people engage in some codependent behaviors, and that gets them into relationships similar to those that they had when they were living with their families or with their parent that was alcoholic. And so many times I encourage people that when you're going for treatment, to go through your own recovery as well. Not only your parent or the alcoholic family member had to go through it, but the person and the family members and the friends also have to go through recovery.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.